Hello, citizen. It is me, the Batman. Hope you don't. It's definitely not Josh, because this voice distorter disguises my voice, so you have no idea who I am.
Hey, welcome to our little extended question block segment. We actually ran out of time on NVC this week, so we were only able to answer one of your questions. You can, of course, always email us at nvc@ign.com or ask you questions on YouTube or the Facebook group or Twitter, wherever you're hanging out and watch or listen to NVC. So we're going to jump into a couple questions that we wanted to get to and couldn't. So the first one is from Jeff in Huntersville. He says everyone seems to agree that the Pro Controller is the best way to play Switch. I'm looking forward to Doom, but don't play docked very often, and the developers have said the Pro Controller is the best way to play. Since we can easily change Joy-Con, how long until we see Pro Joy-Cons? I hadn't even thought about the concept of Pro Joy-Cons, but I guess what you're getting at is maybe the heft and the feel, right? The Joy-Con themselves are really thin. And then, of course, the button placement is different. So on the actual Pro Controller, you have a D-pad here. You know, your record button is higher up. I could see them mess with it, but I wouldn't expect them to do something that feels exactly like a Joy-Con that is thick, because you remove a lot of that portability factor. I guess you could have like giant tubes sticking out at the back, but I don't know. I wouldn't expect them to do that, but I would expect them to do a D-pad. Joy-Con. There's actually a third-party solution. You can mod your Joy-Con like these, and there's a new shell coming with the D-pad on it, so that already exists. But that doesn't really apply to Doom, because Doom, you know, there's not going to be a difference between using a D-pad or these face buttons. So it's more about the placement of the sticks. Obviously, it's a dual analog shooter. I think your best bet probably is to get used to playing it with a Joy-Con like that, or, you know, when you're on the go, you can always pop out that kickstand and hook up the Pro Controller. But I don't know. I feel like I get used to this pretty quickly, except for the D-pad issue, where in games like, even like Picross or maybe some of the classic remakes, I want a proper D-pad on this thing. So I'm hoping that will be the Pro Joy-Con that's coming. Our next question is from Daniel from the UK. I'll read it with a British accent. I'm kidding. I can only do German accents. What extra features, if any, would you like to see when Nintendo launches its paid online service in 2018? Hoping that Virtual Console is a fully fledged feature at launch, I would love to see a music streaming service which is tied to the mobile app and Switch, where you can listen to all your favorite Nintendo soundtracks. Interesting. Nintendo needs to show some love to the incredible music library that they have created throughout the years. See, now I get it. I thought at first you were saying you wanted something like a Spotify on the go, and of course this, you know, you need an internet connection for some of that stuff. But that'd be actually cool if you had some sort of music player built in where you could browse collections from past Nintendo games. You know, maybe even some third-party stuff. I mean, Konami's games famously on the Super NES always sounded amazing, so that'd be really cool. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I like that idea. I also don't think you'll see a fully fledged Virtual Console at launch. I think you'll see that program that they announced where you'll get to play an upgraded classic game online for the period of a month against other people. So they're creating this almost like this monthly event like they have with Splatfest, where there's a reason for everybody to play this single game rather than playing all these different games online. I would love to see a real Virtual Console, and as part of paying the subscription fee, I would love for it to be this ever-expanding library of Virtual Console games that you have access to as long as you're a subscriber, but that you don't keep after you no longer subscribe. I think that'd be really amazing, and like they could release new games into this ecosystem every month and make it worth the extra dollars to keep your subscription. Now, I don't think they'll do that because they make far too much money selling these piecemeal and charging us for it, and the price, of course, for the subscription from what we now know so far is not that high. The other thing that I would really love is for cloud saves. You know, to be able to back up everything in the cloud as part of this service, because this is a portable console, and when it gets stolen right now, there's no easy way to get your games back, and you have to work through Nintendo and hope something can be done. Most of the time, it's just when it's gone, and all the stuff you bought was tied to your account, and it can be very tricky to retrieve that. So cloud saves would really save that, help that. But I really like your idea with the music source. That'd be cool too. Our third question is from Beth, a long-time listener to NVC and fan of IGN. Been around for 15 years. Thank you so much for the support. That's amazing. Almost as long as I have. 20 years it's been. So your question, Beth asked a great question about Breath of the Wild that I actually hadn't heard anybody articulate before. It's about the endgame combat. She said that, she was inspired by an article posted on Forbes that said the more you play Breath of the Wild, the less interesting combat becomes. And this is Beth now. I remember trying crazy and creative things in the beginning to get by, setting off explosive barrels, picking up giant steel plates to drop on unsuspecting heads, rolling boulders into encampments, and using my bombs in all kinds of ways. Now I'm facing black and silver baddies who only respond to straightforward swordplay because that's the only thing that does significant damage. Then there are the Lynels, which are even worse in that respect. I'd very much like to know what your thoughts and experiences were. Is this just how it has to be in the endgame of an open world sandbox game? Could the designers have, say, given us more powerful bombs or increased damage from lifted metal objects, etc.? Or is this all just me and the person who wrote that article? No, I don't think it's just you. So to be fair, I played Breath of the Wild for over 100 hours, and I was still finding new nuances and new combat situations and was messing around with stuff. I can see how, obviously, when you run into lower level enemies or, enemies you face so many times, you might not get as creative. You'll just take the easiest route. But the game actually tries to keep it interesting by limiting the lifespan of a weapon, so kind of making you really think about what you use. Do you really want to waste your weapon on attacking these guys now? Do you want to skip them or do something different? So I think they tried, and they had a couple of really good solutions to keeping it interesting. But I'd argue that when you've crossed the 100-hour mark, at least I wasn't looking for unique combat experiences at that point. I was looking for unique scenarios and things I could do in the environment to solve, like using magnesis to lift things and cheese things, or trying to get into places that I wasn't able to get in a straightforward way. I just kind of tried to get around some of the barriers that the game had erected. And then for me, it was also about finding the Korok seeds. And honestly, at that point, I'm like, I don't want to stop and fight a Lynel unless I really need, some of the extra stuff to upgrade my armor. And so I hear you. There's definitely that element where it runs out of steam and you're not as creative as you were, and so it becomes a little bit more about just straightforward combat. But there are the quests to, find certain enemies, and it becomes more of a scavenger hunt. And I will say, compared to a lot of other open world games, few of them have this great end game, and I actually personally have run out of things to do in open world games. After playing something like Grand Theft Auto for a long time, I kind of get to this point where I'm even thinking like, am I gonna finish the single player quest, or do I move on to something different? And I think Zelda did really well in that regard by just having this openness and all these different things you can do. But that's a huge challenge, I think, for anyone creating a game with a long lifespan. You'll remember games like Diablo. People freaked out over a lack of a proper end game. When those games came out, and Diablo 2 obviously got that right much earlier. And so I think that's the designers will struggle with that. One solution that I think could really help is this kind of time delay release of new elements in games. I really like what's happening in Splatoon, where you have this incentive to go back and try a new weapon. It'd be amazing if a game like The Legend of Zelda played a little bit with the Animal Crossing time feature, where when you go into the game on Halloween, there's something different, or maybe there's certain days of the month where all the enemies are replaced by a certain enemy type and they're super tough. Like that kind of stuff, I think would give you more ways to experiment with the combat. But as it stands, I hear you on that. I think that is a factor that a lot of people run into, but I also think the game that gives you a good path to do different things and not just combat when you pass the 100-hour mark. Thank you so much for asking that question, though, Beth. So those are some of the questions that we didn't get to answer on NVC this week, but that we wanted to answer. If you have a burning question and you want to ask us something and have your question read on the air, email us at nvc@ign.com, or look out for our Facebook groups. If you go to NVC Podcast Forums on Facebook, we will open up a thread asking for questions, or we'll solicit them on the YouTube channel as well. So keep an eye out for that if you want to ask a question, and enjoy the rest of the show.
They're like Super Famicom colors.
It's just gray with colored buttons, though. It doesn't have like
It has like a background behind it a little bit.
Really?
I think it has like a circular thing behind the buttons themselves.
No, so I found a thing on Etsy that will do like a guy that will do like custom Joy-Cons that look like Super Nintendo.
Did you see the ones Chobot tweeted? Or no, was it
Ashley
No,
Jenkins.
Ashley Jenkins. Yeah,
Yes.
Ashley Jenkins.
That's actually what's
yeah.
yeah. Ashley
Those
Jenkins.
ones are really good. Yeah.
That's what tipped me off.
Yeah.
Oh, Zach's gonna be so mad.
Oh, am I in Zach's?
No, do it. I want to see what
Oh
happens.
no, I can switch. I asked Brian. He said it.
Yeah.
Meow, 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 meow. That's my seat, Andrew.
Do you want to switch?
Yes. No, it's fine. I know you have a thing about sides.
No, I don't.
Yeah, huh?
You're wearing a jacket?
It's gonna get real cold in here. Brian said it was very
It
chilly.
gets chilly in here. But I didn't wear like a fisherman's coat.
Okay, it's not a.
Look. Okay, so
In the ticky 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 crumb, in the ticky 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 crumb.
when did those come in? Did you order those?
They came from Japan.
All right.
Apparently it's very difficult to get anything Fire Emblem.
This is a weird
Warriors
pose.
nowadays, so.
Can we take a look at this pose? That looks like he's like a contortionist. That looks very dangerous.
Let me see.
Always with the wiggly
Meow,
swords,
meow,
these
meow,
Fire
meow,
Emblem
meow,
boys. They always got that bent rod. If you
They're
know
gonna
what I'm
cut your
talking
finger. Be careful.
about. This looks like Ridley from Final Fantasy.
It's Tiki, my dude.
Where's the
I like that it's Chroma Tiki because they're in Tokyo Mirage sessions.
What?
I actually like this Tiki amiibo a lot. These are so much better. Shocking that I would like the anime girl amiibo. I know.
Anime girl amiibo.
Did you have some trophies to collect?
Yeah.
You know what? In
Yeah,
our jackets and shirts, we look especially old.
It's cold.
Hello, Internet. These are the Game Fathers.
It's me. I'm here.
Today we're playing Paradroid and Pitfall 1.
You think your voice is gonna get like that?
The original Pitfall is one of the greatest games of all time.
You look like the biggest catch or most dangerous. What is that?
You look like The Wire season 2.
Thank you.
The longshoreman.
Yeah.
Yes.
You look like the Wire season. Just the entire
The
cast.
whole cast.
a lot of people didn't like that season. I still liked it.
Upon repeated viewings, that season is incredible. When the first time I saw it, I was like, "Where's Method Man? Where's all the drug dealers?"
Where's Method Man?
What is that?
Oh, that's a Nintendo
One of the
Switch.
things from the. Why? What do you need?
My Switch.
What happened? Like Mamone, what's going on in Mamone Land?
Nothing much. I'm excited about Mario.
Yeah, you do.
Mario? That no longer a plumber? What is he? What's his occupation now if he's not a plumber?
He's an adventurer.
Who is Mario?
Got it.
Carpenter.
We're talking about Mario Batali.
Mario Batali.
Say I
Red
just
Mario.
came to Earth from space.
Mm-hmm.
In like 2 sentences, explain Mario to me.
He is a.
What's a he?
Got him.
Dehydrated.
Come on.
He's
the shell.
He's a portly gentleman who visits various victorious Venom.
What are you doing? Why are you doing alliteration?
When I get nervous, I do alliteration. He's had a lot of jobs.
I just got here to Earth from space. What is jobs?
I don't like this roleplay at all. He's a hero who's trying to save the world from various threats
Okay.
by
What-
doing the jobs no one else wants to do.
What kind of threats?
Like paint. I don't know. What did Shadow Mario have?
Paint?
Like, what was the stuff? What are you cleaning up? Like sludge?
The threat of paint?
In Mario Sunshine, what are you cleaning up?
Graffiti.
No, but it's like, but
paint.
is it paint? Is it just black
Yeah,
paint?
it's paint.
It's
or ink.
It's not like, yeah. Is it like sludge?
It's,
Is it
that's
tar?
actually the prequel to Splatoon.
He's doing this thing where he's not from this planet, but he speaks perfect English, but he doesn't understand.
I'm asking Goldfarb to explain Mario to me. He's like, he does the jobs he doesn't want to do, like fight paint. And I'm like,
dirty
it's terrible.
jobs.
You're not good at this.
Yeah,
You're not good at all
yeah,
at
yeah.
explaining who Mario is.
I played a bunch of Golf Story. I'm like right at the end.
Cool, we talked about that 3 weeks ago.
All right, well, you should have invited me on the show 3 weeks ago, huh?
I put milk in this coffee, but you would never know because it's not a good color.
I would know.
You always have drinks that look like liquid poo-poo.
They are liquid poo-poo. That's my secret. I drink. You know what's worse than saying liquid poo-poo?
Yeah, liquid. Yeah, poo.
Having that adult man walk in here and be like, "Oh,
You know
you're
what?
drinking liquid poo-poo."
You know what is like 10 out of 10 times guaranteed to like make the hair on the back of my neck stand up? Like I hate hearing it.
Poop?
Caca.
Caca.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Like I feel uncomfortable just having said it.
When's the last time anyone said that? Though?
Yeah,
I don't
how
know.
often do people say caca?
I feel like I've heard Pear say it. That's like a weird dad thing.
I'm gonna start slacking you caca first thing in the morning every
Look
day.
at that.
Slash Giphy caca.
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
Hi, Pear.
Hi, Pear. Hey, I'm glad to see you behind the scenes.
It's not a dad thing.
Oh, I see.
Alright guys, we need to run some sound checks right now.
What is he doing?
What's
Wait,
happening?
what?
Dan didn't show up, so I'm gonna do both the hosting and the shooting here. Okay, I need everybody to switch their seats at least 3 times.
Just did it.
Can you adjust?
Mario's fire drill.
Andrew, can you adjust your seat and go really, really low? Like, we want to keep the, yeah. More. Very good, more. What's that in that glass, Brian?
Oh, it's caca.
That's what I thought.
So which phone? I think this is the tuk tuk tuk.
Yeah, it's this microphone.
So maybe we can lift it a little
That
bit?
was that noise? I thought Sam was kicking the table because he's a crazy man.
So do we have coasters?
Yeah, hang on.
If we
the
put the
Switch
coasters
case?
underneath or something?
So Andrew, those Super Nintendo Joy-Cons are $180 plus $16 tax plus $8 shipping.
So the price of the system.
So it basically comes out to like $205
For what?
for those custom Super Nintendo Joy-Cons that are like painted to look like Super Nintendo controllers. It's different than just like a
They're
shot.
like
Oh.
That
shaded
picture
and
of it,
then-
it's
yeah.
so cool.
They're
Yeah,
gorgeous,
yeah,
but
that's
I
how
don't-
much
man,
they are?
$200.
I like all these custom ones, but I want to wait for official ones. I want an actual Nintendo-made,
Hey, Borba.
non-solid color.
Andrew, where's your Switch?
At home. I didn't know I was gonna be on today. I would have brought it.
Is that the new one?
Who here is Brian? Me and my wife are Brian.
Everybody's like,
I'm Brian.
Yeah, that movie is wackadoo.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Who made that?
Oh, what's that?
What's a Panda Musk Jose from a different image photoshopped into that one?
Oh.
What's your favorite Jose image?
On this one, we don't.
Like, what's been your favorite? I miss Jose.
I like the Frozen in
Oh yeah.
Frozen in Mario.
That one was really good. I like Brian's from last week.
The Metroid one is really good.
And Star Fox 2.
Him and the Metroid tank was really good.
Hi, thanks again for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to Nintendo Voice Chat. Also, catch up with the podcast right there. If you want to catch up with the vlog, click on that video. And make sure to click the bell. Looks just like that next to the subscribe button so you never miss a video on the channel. We'll see you next time. Bye.